been married for almost 5 years, and we've rented our entire marriage. And so something that we really wanted eventually was to be able to purchase a home. And one of the things we talked about pretty regularly actually was just how much we wanted to stop renting so that the monthly payment we were making could go into something that we actually owned versus something someone else owned and helping them pay off their property. So that was something we always had in the back of our mind our entire marriage leading up to this year.
So we serve as campus missionaries, and as campus missionaries, we decided to create a ministry house. And this ministry house was an opportunity for us to be able to come alongside our students and help develop them in their leadership and in their walks with Jesus. The owner of the home, he ended up getting diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And the casita that we were supposed to stay in associated with that house didn't pan out. So we ended up living in a house with 4 students and 1 bathroom.
All of last year.
I think the biggest fear of owning a home was being outside of our means. I think the big monthly payment was something that provided a lot of fear for us in the process. A longing to honor God with our finances, steward the things that He has given us, but also thinking ahead. We longed to be able to own a home so that we could raise a family.
We actually didn't know a lot about buying a house, which makes sense. We've never done it before. But pretty much what we were hearing from friends and just in society is like, right now is a horrible time to buy. Interest rates are super high. And so I think even for us, we were like, well, dang, everyone's saying it's not a good time to buy right now. And so as we sit in this communal living situation, that feels scary to think about trying to buy a house because everyone is saying it's a bad time to buy, specifically because of the interest rates. Would that make us like to even afford something? Would we have to pay outside of our means every month? I mean, you're just those types of questions. Do we have enough saved for a down payment? Looking back, there were a lot of specifics around the house buying process that we just weren't aware of. And so I think in our lack of knowledge, it created a fear of making that jump. I think also just the timing, like, okay, if we commit to move out of this space with the hopes of buying a home, because we work with college students, we really had a 3-month window where we could focus on trying to buy a home, buy it, and move. And so we were honestly nervous that that wasn't going to be able to happen, or given our finances and where we're at in our means, we were like, can we even find a place that's where we want and be able to purchase it and move before, for us, the college semester starts. So there was a lot of stress in the unknowns around those different things. We had a realtor that was really highly recommended to us. She had just been an incredible help and realtor for multiple different people that we knew. And so we made an appointment with her, and that initial appointment really felt like the first significant thing we did to get the ball rolling. We learned a lot more information from her. It was meeting with her that Jennifer was recommended. So I think meeting with her, and then also us really just taking some time to look at our finances, figure out exactly what we're making, exactly what we had saved for a down payment, and exactly what we could pay moving forward. We needed to look at to see, okay, could we realistically even try to buy something? So probably those 2 things. What would you add?
Yeah, so we chose Layla McLean as our realtor. She was
phenomenal.
Amazing.
Yeah.
She came alongside us in the whole process, helped us understand what the process of buying a home was, even help us think through our values in that process, which I think was pretty essential. Thinking through where do we want to buy, our life stage, where do we want to be in the future, all things that were essential in helping us in the home buying process.
Yeah. When we met with Layla, she also started explaining the buying a house process in layman's terms, which was huge for us because of all the unknowns with the process that we had had before. And so in that initial meeting with her, we really started, I think, feeling like I think that this is something we could do. And maybe the interest rates being high aren't as significant of an issue as we thought. There are actually some pros for us as buyers. We learned that Arizona was in a buyer's market, and that was really exciting. We had no idea about that, and even the role that that played in buying a house and how that could help us financially. So there were a lot of things in that we learned that started making it feel like maybe we could actually buy our first home this year.
We had to choose a loan officer, and so Layla was like, hey, here's 3 options. They're all amazing. Call them all and ask all the questions that you have. So we called a number. All of them were wonderful. Layla gave us great references. But I think connecting with Jennifer right off the bat, we felt like, man, she knows her stuff. She knows our values. She respects those values. And she says, hey, how can I help you meet your goals and the longings that you have? Specifically, I think what comes to mind was we had a conversation about where to buy and how buying within a mile of campus could be a really helpful step for us in building equity further in our life as we think about maybe living here 5 to 7 years and then potentially holding on to that as a rental property. So I think that was a really helpful conversation, thinking about our long-term future, and it was really what sold the deal for me in terms of which one to choose.
Yeah, I think that in that conversation with Jennifer, at first it did feel a little overwhelming because I remember thinking, oh my gosh, there's even more here that I just don't know about that I'm gonna have to learn so that I need to be educated so that I can understand what she's talking about. What was really great, I specifically remember stopping Jennifer multiple times being like, wait, what did you just say and what does that mean? And she would go, great question, and then take time to just explain it to me. And so I learned a lot through Jennifer. I never felt like she was upset that we were asking for clarification or understanding, or she would take time to just deeper explain a concept on her own. So that first phone call did feel like, okay, there's a lot of terms to learn and understanding how this all works, but she's really wanting to take time to teach us how to understand this process. She also, I felt really cared for in that conversation. You just don't always know with people in the buying a house process if they have your best interest in mind, and it just felt really clear from the get-go that Jennifer did and was really listening to the things that we were saying were priorities and values that we had, and really trying to lay out all the options for us and give wisdom so that we could all collectively just make really great decisions on buying a house.
Yeah, at the end of the day, she was like, can you afford the monthly payment today in a sustainable way? And then I will watch the markets like a hawk. And if at any point the interest rate goes down, I will call you directly. And if it's within a margin that's acceptable or helpful, we'll go ahead and refinance for you so that we can get that monthly payment down. And so being able to know that was just really helpful as we thought about taking on what felt like a risky investment.
So we learned pretty quickly through both Layla and Jennifer that there were some significant pros to purchasing a house as residents of Arizona right now, because Arizona is in a buyer's market. There were a number of different things that we actually got really significant financial help with that we weren't expecting because it's a buyer's market. So we were able to get seller concessions, which was huge in just covering the closing costs of purchasing this home. Layla, our realtor, did a phenomenal job negotiating with the sellers of our house. We, all said and done, after the inspection, ended up getting a brand new AC unit in this home, a brand new water heater, and all new roof insulation, which the sellers paid for. And that we came to find out was specifically a perk of us being in a buyer's market. They really wanted to do everything they could so that we would purchase the house.
As campus ministers, we don't make a ton of money. And as a result of that, we're trying to negotiate or figure out, like, how do we raise a family in this current reality? We long to be able to help our kids go to college, and we long for us to be able to enjoy family experiences. And so with that, homeownership has been just a really incredible opportunity for us to step into this house. We're longing for it to be a investment property that we can then rent out in the future. Honestly, we were doing the math and we were thinking, I think that we'll probably own this home right around the time in which our kids are going to go to college, and then we can rent it out to either them if they go to ASU, or to other students, and to be able to use that income as a means to help pay for our kids' college. I would say if you're thinking about owning a home, make sure that your income is in a place where you can afford the monthly payment. We think it's really important to live within your means. But then that being said, once you're able to afford a monthly payment, buy a home, because this is an opportunity for you to build equity and begin to build a financial legacy.
I think the other thing I would say is, if you hope to own a home at one point in the future, educate yourself on the process of home buying now, so that even if you don't know if you're going to buy at this moment, so that as you move forward, you know what to look for in the market, with interest rates. Because I would say for us, we probably would have tried to buy a house sooner. Not probably, for sure. We would have tried to buy a house sooner if we had had more knowledge beforehand. Especially looking back over the last 6 years of just where the market has been, we were like, dang, if we had known that, we would have tried to buy a home in 2020, or we would have tried, but we just did. You don't know what you don't know, right? And so if you hope at all in the next 10 or 20 years to buy a home, I would just meet up with a realtor or someone now, learn about the process, because I think it will inform your decisions moving forward in ways that you won't regret.
Yeah, we wish that we would have had mentors or people in our life that would have told us earlier on, buy a home, the interest rates are low, you can afford the monthly payment, you can do this. We just didn't have anybody that told us that or encouraged us in that way. And in hindsight, we wish that we did, but nonetheless, we have a wonderful home.
Yeah. I think as a final piece of advice, I would say find your mortgage broker and your realtor from people that you trust, who they recommend. That was how we found Layla. She was the best realtor that we could have had. I mean, we'll just say that to the end. And then Layla recommended Jennifer, and Jennifer was the best mortgage broker that we could have had. And we explored all the different great recommendations that Layla gave us. But I think getting recommendations for those people from trusted people is huge. Having those two in place as we made this decision, and who both of those women are, how skilled they are in their jobs, and how much they really cared about us, was massive. And I think we found them through those trusted recommendations. That was really, really huge.
Jennifer was the most knowledgeable. She had the most experience. And I think that was really helpful in making good decisions, because to be honest, me and Hannah kept looking at each other. What do we do? And I think Jennifer came alongside us in a way that says, here's all the information, and even said, hey, if I was in your position, this is what I would make, but here are the pros and cons, make your own decision. And I think that actually getting her personal recommendation was more helpful for me as someone who had never been a part of this process.
Yeah, I felt like she used all of her wisdom to really empower us to make the best decision for ourselves. And that felt like a really big deal.